What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
That just happened. What just happened? I'm Dan. That's Julia, and that's Vex, our guest for True Detective Night Country. If you want to check out her channel, it's linked below. So we're doing a giveaway once we hit 3,000 subscribers. We're going to Venmo someone $50. We could do it this week. If you're not subscribed, just hit subscribe and you might win some money. This episode, it starts off with Danvers watching the Annie K clip again. This is a big factor in this entire episode. They show it multiple times. And then we see it's Christmas Eve, the 7th day of night. And the bodies are getting packed up to go to Anchorage. Pete tells Danvers this over the phone.
They're early packing up the bodies to Anchorage.
Tells him that Captain Connolly's there. While they're talking, she finds Jules taking off her clothes in freezing temperatures. So she's having
Just
another
outside
episode.
in the street.
Yeah. Just outside. She says, hey, get Navarro to the station. And back at the station, Navarro's with her. They're worried that they're going to lose the case.
The fuck is he here for? I got it. He better not be trying to take this case away from us.
But Jules there, she's kind of calmed down at this point. They're going to send her to the Lighthouse, the program that's going to try to help her. She talks to Connolly in her office, and she's wondering why he's there. He's like, hey, don't worry, I'm not going to take the case off you. And then she shares the info that she got from cousin Vinny, the vet, that they died before they froze. And he's like, I don't really want to know how you knew that, but thanks for the information. And then we see Jules get taken to the Lighthouse for help.
Also, with that whole interaction with Connolly, it's also very clear that Danvers knows there's nothing up with like the higher ups because she willingly lets him know I have Annie K's death video.
Sure, yeah, right.
So like if you thought
she sent it to him.
Right.
Yeah.
So just like if she really thought something was up, she would not have shared it. So it kind of discredits that theory that some people have.
Unless she would do that because, they were like canoodling, but
yeah.
Yeah, but it's like even then, like
I can't see that being like something she would do, really.
Exactly. So sorry, Dan, continue.
Jules is trying to get help. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, but we see Pete was working on something that Danvers had requested for someone that had similar injuries as the corpse school scientists, and he found someone. This guy's name's Otis.
His name is Otis Heiss, white male admitted to St. Joseph's, April 98.
Burns on both corneas. Ruptured eardrums, self-inflicted bites.
And she wants people looking for him as well as Clark, so he's going to put out that APB to let the cops know that, hey, now we're on the lookout for 2 people.
We'll get the man out there looking for Clark and Otis. Maybe they're in the same place. Who knows?
And Navarro calls, and she's looking for ice caves like in Annie's video, and that comes into play again later as well. And then Hank went to pick up his fiance, but poor guy got catfished. Big surprise.
Which we all knew was going to happen because like the first time that plot line is even introduced, it's like, oh, the text messages say, oh, I'll send you more money or whatever for your mom. Oh, my mom is sick. Papa Pryor doesn't really do anything. He doesn't have a fit. He doesn't get angry. He doesn't start cursing out his colleagues or anything. He's just kind of like, hey, son, you want to come have Christmas Eve at my house with my grandchild and stuff? And I'm like, oh, his automatic thing was like, okay, I'll choose to spend this holiday a good way rather than, being destructive. So that's why it was nice.
I think that's the point of showing that. I think they tried to humanize Hank a little bit because even my wife said, this is the first time I've liked him. She was like, this is the first time I've liked him. He's been a dick this whole time. And now I kind of feel for him and I feel bad for him.
I felt so bad when they started closing up the plane.
Yeah.
His face. Oh.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking.
And then Danvers and Navarro go see the school teacher that Danvers was having an affair with.
Oh, you didn't. Is there anyone in this town you haven't fucked?
Yeah. So she's got that rep. She's got that reputation around town, definitely around Ennis. And he confirms that they are whale bones in the Annie K video.
Well?
Yeah, those are definitely whale bones. Monodontoides, probably prehistoric.
He is going to be able to help, but first he looks for who mapped out the cave system.
You got a name?
1 second. Hayes. Otis Hayes.
Wait, Heiss? Otis Heiss?
It's Otis. So Otis again gets brought up again. It's Otis Heiss. Then we see Jules in her room at the lighthouse and the orange rolls between her legs. And then she looks under the bed and sees her mom, right? Because that's the necklace.
Yeah, it's definitely the mom.
Yeah. We see what happens with her in just a couple scenes. Hank gets to the station, pours himself a drink, talks to Pete about the situation. And then Pete's like, whoa, did you send her any money?
Listen, you didn't send her any money, did you?
And then Hank kind of ignores it. And we all know that's what happened at this point. He was catfished and she stole his money. Then Danvers goes to the mining office, which has been vandalized by Leah. and it says murderers graffitied on it. The owner lets Leah off for now because it's Christmas Eve, so she gives her a break. She initially wanted to press charges, but she lets her go.
They've spray painted this. Danvers doesn't immediately just go to the whole, it's Christmas Eve, don't worry about pressing charges, we'll fit. She's like, oh, you're doing this to get back at me.
You don't get to fuck up my kid's life just because you're pissed at me and you feel like maybe this will make us even.
How selfish can you be? You're trying to not be a bit of a bitch to everyone, and you're out here creating new bridges just to burn them immediately. During this scene too, again, Christmas Eve, she's like, she goes to her daughter, I just want to slap you.
Strangle.
Yeah, I just strangle you. Why do you always take their side? Just get in the fucking car.
Dude, it's Christmas Eve. Why would you not just try to be nice? I literally saw you put a jacket on a half-naked Julia at the beginning of this episode. I know that you can be kind. Like, not this Julia, but I know that you can be kind and empathize. Why are you being such a bitch?
They got a weird relationship.
She's not even trying to remedy it. We've just seen 4 episodes of tension. Right. And she's not even trying, but we see her try with all these other people that have no impact in her life whatsoever.
This is the scene where Navarro calls Jules to check in.
I love you, Angie. I love you too, baby girl.
But we see that Jules is outside at that boat again, looking out into the frozen sea, and we know what's coming. And then she takes off her clothes, strips down naked, walks off into the sea. Rest in peace. Yep, Vex called that last week, but now we're at the part where Leah runs off to get picked up by Kayla to go to Pete Pryor's house, and Danvers throws the turkey in the trash and watches the video again and again. And then she watches the She's Awake video, and then she puts 2 and 2 together that the power was cut off in both instances. So same MO.
It's the same MO in both cases.
Must have been a generator in the mines.
First of all, she threw away that turkey and they live in fucking Alaska. That was probably $100 turkey. Just saying. Okay. Yeah. So we know that Danvers has been watching this video on loop. We know that also she watched the other video on loop too of the scientists as well.
Well, yeah. Well, then she thought it was Oliver that was, possibly behind this because of the work he did at the station. So that's what she says. She's like, hey, I'm going to pick you up. Navarro realizes that she's drunk. She's like, you're not picking me up.
Hell no. You're not going anywhere. You're wasted.
And then she's like, all right, I'll get Pete to pick you up. And then, of course, Pete has to leave his family again to go pick up Navarro. This scene when Pete and Navarro go to try to see Oliver, I wrote in my notes, Pete gonna die here? ? Because of the music they were playing. Are they really setting this up? And I would have been, and my wife was like, oh, I fucking hope not. He's like the only character I like. So I just had that weird feeling because of that song they were playing. I'm like, is he about to get killed right now? Because we knew that Oliver had a gun waiting last time they went in.
Yeah.
They go in. He's not there. Pete says the line.
This feels a lot like.
And I'm guessing they were talking about the station, how someone just vanished, because
I think so. Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing. And the symbol's drawn on the floor. It's also drawn on a rock, the swirl. My first thought was Clark there? And if not, then I guess Oliver Tagak is also in on this. I don't know.
We kind of got a feeling that he was, because he refused to talk to Danvers and Navarro when they went there the first time, right? Yeah. So it's already pretty heavily implied that he has some involvement.
The next part is when she drunk drives to Connolly's.
What? Right. I know. Like she decides to just drive drunk to go see Connolly.
Okay, you want the truth? You were a better cop than me from day one. But you were terrible with people.
And you're like, no fucking shit. It's been 4 episodes.
Clearly.
We know this already.
But yeah, he mentions about Jake and Holden. So I guess her husband also did die.
And after...
What? Say it.
Jake and Holden, it got worse.
And then we see Hank being lonesome again after getting screwed over. This is when my wife felt bad for him in this part, where he was looking at the rose petals on the bed and he was all alone. No. And then the Alaska Coast Guard calls in about Jules.
Hello?
Evangeline Navarro, this is Lieutenant James Ingram, the Alaska Coast Guard. I'm afraid I have some bad news.
And Navarro is silent about it because she doesn't want Pete to stick around. She wants Pete to get home. She's looking out for him in this moment. Hey, get home to your family. I'm fine. But clearly she's not okay, because we see what she does later. Pete gets home. He apologized to Kayla. Their relationship's not looking too hot right now, but we'll see if that has any meaning later on. Navarro speeds off. She sees the prick from episode 1, keeps a mental note of it, goes to the lighthouse, has a rage fit, breaks shit, says, what kind of place is this?
You just let people fucking die! What the fuck? You're fucking kidding me!
By the way, so remember in episode 1, Pete's son draws like a picture of a monster woman with blue hair. Do you think now that maybe he's got the third eye or whatever, and he was actually drawing a picture of Julia's death?
Maybe.
I immediately connected that to Julia, like as soon as
Interesting.
Like I already had an idea because of the blue hair, but now if you put, because he was really disturbed by the picture too, and then Navarro happens to get the call when she's in the car with Pete.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Maybe that's a
I like that. And then Navarro goes back and sees that guy again, and she just loses her mind, gets out, punches him in the face, starts fighting all three of them, and then she gets her ass beat, of course, because there's 3 people, you're going to get overpowered. And then Danvers, driving, almost crashes into that one-eyed polar bear again, but she swerves off and crashes into the road. I actually thought the shot of her looking at the polar bear was pretty cool. And then Navarro, where's she going to go? Of course, she goes to Kavix, and he feels really bad. She shows him the stone with the swirl on it.
What is this?
They have a moment of talking. She doesn't tell him about Jules at this point, but he acts like he wants to talk about their relationship when he really just wants to snap her finger back into place.
It's done.
It's done. Fuck you, Kavik!
Kavik might be one of my favorite characters, too. I actually like when he's
Me
in
too. I like him too.
scenes. So now we're on Christmas, the 8th day of night. Navarro goes to Danvers and says Tagak is gone. She lost the stone with the spiral, but it's probably just at Kavik, so she can go back and get it.
We see Kavik take it out of her thing, so it's at his house for sure.
Yeah, so that's not going to be a big deal. And Navarro finds the one-eyed polar bear stuffed animal that she had a vision of, and now this is when she starts to get trippy in her own mind.
This explains a question that I had earlier. How much does Navarro know about Danvers' husband and son? So it seems like she didn't know that that's who she saw out on the ice in episode 3. So that kind of fills in some of the blanks for their relationship.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And then she has this fit about how dead people are dead and there's nothing else to it. And she proves it by throwing the stuffed animal outside because she's like, well, if you think that, then why are you still holding on to something of your son's? And she's like, yeah, you think I care about this? Toss it outside. And then this is when she tells her about Jules.
My sister killed herself last night.
She feels really bad about her. She walked out into the frozen sea until she fell in and drowned.
Walked onto the sea, just walk.
She says what she thinks was really wrong with her. But then this is when she's talking about it happened to her mom. It happened to Jules. Now it's coming for me. She's calling me now.
You want to know what was really wrong with her? It takes us one by one. And you know who's next?
And we see what happens with that at the end of the episode. So she brings up the Wheeler case and says how she saw a ghost or she saw a vision or something like that. I'll put that in right here.
I was there, and you saw something in that room. It was a ghost. Or some kind of spirit.
She denies it, but clearly something went down. Danvers is getting thoughts about that case and how it's all seeming very familiar at this point. And then Pete calls about fishermen spotting something, and it looks to be a photo of Clark. At least someone wearing the jacket that Clark was wearing. That was Annie's jacket, right? With the patched shoulder. So he's at a place called the Dredge. They go there, they go inside, they find the swirl, and then they see someone running. Danvers swears it's Clark. She says, hey, Clark, stop. Navarro stops. She hears voices. She sees a vision of someone swimming, so she goes and follows that, doesn't follow Danvers. Danvers is on her own. She closes in on the suspect. She's like, hey, put your hands up. He puts his hood up. It's Otis. It's Otis with Clark's jacket on. The Annie's jacket, we see all that. But then Navarro, like you were just saying, she is following like wet footsteps that she sees, and it was the person that was swimming, possibly walking, and she turns and sees a ghost-like figure that I know scared Vex.
Yeah, I jumped a little because I didn't expect the thing to be screaming. That's why.
Was
That's
it Jules?
what threw me off. It was Jules. Yeah, blue hair.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that was the body she saw as well, blue hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, got it. And then Otis says Clark went back down to hide.
He went back down to hide.
Navarro is sitting down. They're doing like a split showing 2 different things at once here. Her ears are bleeding. So did her eardrums burst like the other people?
I did see that.
Okay.
Because she made a point to like pull her jacket aside so you could see.
That's like because I was trying to look for it, but I didn't see the blood.
Yeah.
So okay, that explains that.
No, I was not thinking. I was trying to figure out where that connected, but that might make sense, Dan.
Yeah, because one of the guys had their ears popped. They
Right.
find out in episode 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and the scientists, they all had their eardrums were burst. And same with Otis, his eardrums were burst too. That's somewhat of a connection that maybe someone has a theory about. Let us know in the comments. And then Otis says,
We're all in the night country now.
that's how the episode ended. And if you have theories, awesome. Let us know, and then we'll read them in a future video. We would love to make another theory video on this show.
Maybe Pete's gonna die. I think that's a fair prediction for the last episode. I think Hank will probably end up just feeling like he's caught in between Connolly and Danvers as well, because he doesn't like Danvers. That's been pretty clear from day one. But also, I can see how there might be an issue here with the case moving to Alaska, or so I think he'll end up being a slightly unsuspecting hero by the end of the series. I think that Clark's gonna be dead when they find him, in all honesty. That's what I'm expecting at this point. Yeah, it's the jacket is gone. You know what would be an interesting? I want to know how Otis got all that fucking meth, in all honesty.
Right? I was like, where the hell did that come from?
Right.
Hey, where's Otis? Oh, I just saw him the other day. I sold him a bunch of meth.
Yeah, he's got to get it from someone. This episode, again, you know, I don't think it was the strongest. If someone in the comments or a viewer is really enjoying this show, please write why below, because I feel like there's so much build up and set up for a payoff that's only 2 episodes away now. And it's like, when are we going to start seeing some fruits of this? And I don't know. It's all stuff that we already know. And it's like kind of just, you know, obviously the supernatural part, Vex, you think it's like a fact now, right?
Yeah, it's just like, because I know that some people in our previous videos were saying like, oh, it must be something in the water, because there were continuously those references to the drinking water being off and, you know, mining, you know, there's always environmental destruction kind of involved with that kind of stuff. But it's still kind of not clear. 2 things: why people exactly are protesting the mine, even though it provides like a lot of jobs.
50%.
And so it's not like it's almost like we're supposed to just assume why they're protesting it, but there's no clear motivation there. So I'm still really confused as well. They're really playing up all of the supernatural elements just a lot more than, oh, these people are they're all just like hallucinating because of the water. Because like even Navarro in this episode, there's something that follows around my family. It's coming for me as well. And it's really only until her sister passes, or around the time her sister passes, that she starts to get these vision things and everything. Yeah. I like, at this point, I'm set that this is part of the narrative. This is part of the world building for this season, and it's going to be really hard to like 4 episodes in now, it's going to be really hard to write it off as something else.
Yeah, like someone in the comments said last week, there's going to be a plausible explanation for everything will make sense, and there won't be any phenomenon type of thing going on, no supernatural stuff going on.
I don't think so.
I don't see how it's possible at this point. I really don't.
Literally the only other way I could see that happening is if it was like focused on like mental health.
Also,
because like they said, Julia's schizophrenic, so, or was,
and bipolar,
and also it's kind of clear now that, oh, Rose Agnew isn't your real name, so I'm pretty sure she's a lover. She's not necessarily Rust Cole's mother now. Yeah, I think it was just Travis Cole's lover. There you go.
I agree with that. Well, let us know what you guys think. If you picked out anything that we missed, or anything that you quite enjoyed, or that you have a prediction for that's going to happen in the next 2 episodes, let us know. Yep, that'll do it for this week. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Later.
Bye, guys.
Forgot the name of the show.
It's this one, though, if that helps.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
The previews for... Sorry, a cat just jumped on my back. So
I was so confused. I was like, oh no, the curse is getting to Vex now.
The way you reacted, it's like someone like tried to touch your butt.
He just dug his fucking nails into my back and climbed up here. Kind of just like drawn out as
figure up the butt.
He's making biscuits on my arm. My goodness.
I love when people call it making biscuits. It's so cute.
Kid's got a family. It's Christmas Eve, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, no. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you too.